Welcome back, everybody. Canadian Silver Saver here. I hope you're having a great week so far. And today, as promised, I have my gold feature. And I want to talk a little bit about why I picked up this gold and when I did, and show you how the markets have kind of gone over the last year. I do think it's important to diversify your stack or your investments in all aspects. I do do a little bit of stocks as well, but any of the stuff like that you don't hold it and you don't own it, such as gold and silver and platinum and things like that, you really have to be okay with losing that money. To me, it is completely gambling, because anything can happen overnight. Cryptos, all of that stuff, despite what money can be made in it, it's to me a gamble, and you've got to have that money to lose and not worry about it. Gold and silver is a little bit different than that, but I also think you should be making sure that you're smart about your choices. And if you need to worry about whether or not you're going to be buying groceries or anything each week, you should be buying something like this, and you should be waiting until it's a little bit more feasible. Now, when the new year came, I was able to go and add a little bit of gold to the stack. So you can see here, focusing on pop these out of the capsules here. So I grabbed a couple of these. I only got my glove on because I'm going to pop them out here. A couple of little gold maples. Again, they're 1/10 of an ounce. Little Canadian maples. And my gold, I am very I really try to pick what's easily recognizable, just in terms of the counterfeiting that is out there. So I grabbed a couple of these. I did decide to, I thought since I've got some gold to feature today, I wanted to show you some of my favorites that I've grabbed along the way recently and kind of talk about the market over the last year or so. So let's pop these out so we can see the gold in all of its glory, at least one of them here, so you can see the coin. Well, I have it in the little, it's actually in its plastic wrap, so it's going to kind of stay in there still. It's still in the mint plastic wrapper on there, you can kind of see it. I've pushed it into the case there, and the moon's capsule, little capsule. Cool little pieces of gold, good to have, easy to store. Now I don't have much gold around. I have to go to my storage for some things like that, but I had some pieces that I'd featured recently, and I was talking to actually some family members about some of this stuff, so it was good to feature some of these as well. And these are some recent gold pieces. This one I won last year, actually in a raffle, which is pretty awesome. 1851, gold eagle. That's a cool piece. Very, very lucky to win that in that raffle. And you can see, I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But the reasoning why I picked up these maples was just, if you can see on the chart here, so let's pop over to the actual video, or the picture there. You'll see that this is the silver market, and you'll see kind of how it's been going. Now let's get to where the gold market pops over top of that, and you'll see it's very, very similar. The markets really do a lot of the same things. It's almost identical, actually, if you look how it's been going until about the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Now you'll see that the market the movement is almost identical, but there's a bit of a gap in how much gold moved over silver. And at the end of December, you'll see that drop, and there's kind of highlight it there for you. And that's where I made my purchase. It was just after the new year. I decided, I was kind of Christmas treat myself once everything was all taken care of. I had some Christmas money come in, and I saw that the market was starting to go back up after the kind of the constant movement all the way down there, you'll see. So I thought this was the time to do it, and it felt right, and very fortunate for me, it was pretty good because gold has just been on the move up since then, apart from a few fluctuations, of course. But year over year, we've had some pretty steady movement on both sides, gold and silver. And I think it's important to try and watch those trends. And that's what I try to do. I look for the trends. I try not to ignore history, because it's very important to see what happens. Every 10 years or so, there's an important and quite a big movement when it comes to precious metals, and we're due for that any time now. So I think it's really, really important to watch those peaks and valleys. As soon as you see a deep valley and you see it's starting to come out of that valley, in my mind, that's always a good time to buy. And that's what I did with actually a recent piece back here too. So I'll show you something that I picked up a little while ago that I wanted to have nearby because it's a little bit different. Really like this, the Red Dragon of Wales. I have Welsh background. My middle name is actually Welsh, and named after my uncle. Oops, named after my uncle. Got Queenie on her head there. Sorry, Queenie. But very nice little piece, and I had this featured in the video a while back as well. And also I love my my Chinese pandas. I really do. You can be so careful when you're getting these. So I got this from a local business and I made sure it was all tested and good to go. It is in its mint seal as well, but you never know how that can go. So I think they're really fun and great to have, and such detail on these small gold coins. I think it's awesome. It is easier to store your gold, larger amounts, but it's also sometimes I feel can be harder to move it if you need to in a pinch. So I like to have smaller pieces of gold versus maybe some of the larger ones. So here's a half-ounce maple I picked up a while back. Again, I featured this one last year. And this half-ounce maple, it's a little bit older one. It was really nice to grab. It's a 1989, sitting in the cabinet. It was the same price as another half-ounce that was from, I think, a 2015 or 2016. So I thought, well, this one's got a bit of history with it, and it was nice to pick up and add to the stack as well. But I bought this again on a dip, and gold went up a little bit after that, so it was a nice thing to do as well. Cool piece for sure to add to the stack, but I don't tend to buy anything over half ounces, just in terms of ease of moving it later on and getting your premiums back for what you're paying on the private market, or getting a good return for it if you need to in a pinch, going down to your LCS. Because any good LCS, everybody, if you've got a good reputable LCS and you walk in with any of these pieces you see here, you're getting spot for it, and you should get a little bit more for a couple of pieces, maybe like this guy here. It does depend on the premiums, really, because they're a business. They've got to make their money, everybody. Remember that when you go to coin shows and things like that. I find that a lot of times people wonder why they go to a coin show and they don't necessarily find the deals that they wanted. A lot of it is they have to pay for tables. A lot of them, they're buying their food. They have to pay for hotels. A coin show is more about getting their name and their brand out there, and maybe making a few dollars and moving some product and old stock, and seeing what's going on with everybody, right? But you're not always going to get those premiums back that you may spend on some of the pieces you've picked up if you try to sell there. So that's not the best place to sell, in my opinion, by any means. Great, you sell at your LCS if you need to do it quickly, and they should give you your spot price for gold and your silver, unless it's a large amount, because then they've got to sell it closer to spot, meaning that they're not going to get their premium back on it as quickly as they would on another piece, right? So again, it's all a business, everybody, so you got to be fair when you're doing that. So the more times you can buy when there's a dip, so that if you need to tap into your investments, or if it's time to buy that house, or you just want to rotate a couple pieces because you want to change what's in your collection, playing those dips is very important, and that's what allows me to add pieces like this into my stack and keep investing for my future. So lots of fun, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. It really does help get the videos out there. If you share it on social media, and hit that subscribe button too, and the little notification bell, so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. My website is running really well now. Everything seems to be going quite smoothly. If you have any questions about it, some people apparently have had a couple issues with the shopping cart, though. I haven't been able to duplicate it, but let me know. Send me a message and I'll do everything I can to fix it. You can also send me private requests and that for items and shipping requests and things like that. So head on over to canadiansilversaver.com. Great stuff there, and hopefully I will talk to you all soon. Take care.